4-cone square. The 4-cone square is another 5x5 yard box, and we're going to work this one all the way around. Starting at the first cone, we're going to sprint forward, shuffle around the cone, backpedal, and then shuffling through. Again, we're going to repeat this going both ways. If you want to get a variation on that drill, turn and sprint off that last cone. Just make sure you get equal work going both directions. X drill. Starting with a 5x5 yard box, we're going to sprint diagonally to the far cone, shuffle to the next cone, crossover to the other far cone, turning and sprinting through the middle. We're going to repeat this going the other direction, making sure we get equal work on both sides. The triangle drill. Starting out, we're going to sprint diagonally to the far cone, backpedal around the next cone, and then shuffle to the finish line. Starting at the same point, we're going to repeat on the other side. The L drill. The L drill is set up just like the triangle drill, so this is going to work great with all of our 5x5 box setups. Starting in a 3-point stance, we're going to fire out. Now you have to touch the cone with the same hand both times. The big thing we want to pay attention to is to get the entire 5 yards covered in 3 steps, both there and back. That helps us cover more ground with less steps, and you're able to cut off that inside foot. We want to do that on both the near cone and the far cone. Even coming around that corner, we're cutting off the inside foot and covering that ground in the shortest time possible. The eye of pain. The eye of pain is going to use 5 cones set up in a straight line. The first cone is going to be 3 yards off the starting point, and then the next 3 cones are each 2 yards apart. We're going to backpedal to the first cone, make a sharp cut forwards, cutting off the same foot. Repeat this till you get all the way through it. We're going to repeat this drill, getting the same amount of work on the other leg. Pro agility, also known as the 5-10-5. We're going to set up 3 cones, each 5 yards apart from each other. We're going to start at the middle cone. If you're an athlete that ever touches the ground, like a football player, we're going to start in a 3-point stance. Pushing the direction you're going, you're going to go to that first cone that's 5 yards away, touching with your hand. You're then going to sprint 10 yards to the far cone, touching with your hand, and sprinting back through the middle cone. Starting at the same point, we're going to repeat on the other side. staggered shuttle. The staggered shuttle is just like the pro agility. We're just going to take one of those cones and we're going to walk it in 2 yards so that it's 3 yards off the center cone. So you're going to have one cone 3 yards off, the other cone 5 yards off. Starting at the center cone, we're going to go to the short cone first, touching, it's a quick turn, and go to the far cone, touch, sprint back to the middle. We want to make sure we get equal work going both directions. One, two, three, back. 1, 2, 3 back is a reaction agility drill. Your coach or partner is going to have 1, 2, 3, or back as an option. As the athlete, the second you hear the name of that cone, react and sprint or backpedal to the cone that was just called out. Cone Alley version 1. We're going to have 2 rows of cones. We're going to have 4 on one row, 3 on the other for a total of 7. Each of them are going to have a 4-yard separation. Starting at the first cone, we're going to sprint to the second, backpedal around the third. We're going to repeat this pattern all the way down the alley. Cone Alley version 2. Version 2 of Cone Alley is very similar to version 1. The only difference is instead of a back pedal, we're going to turn our shoulders, crossover, sprint back around the next cone. So starting at the first cone, sprint to the second cone, turn your hips and shoulders on a crossover run around that back cone. We're going to repeat this, going both directions, getting equal work on both sides. Cone Alley version 3. Version 3 of Cone Alley has a slightly different setup as we want to open up some space to have a shuffle zone. Starting at the first cone, you're going to sprint forward, shuffle, crossover around that back cone, repeat until you finish the drill. As always, we want to repeat going both ways. Run, shuffle, run. Run, shuffle, run has 4 cones set up in a line. The middle cones are 4 yards apart with the outsides, each 5 yards apart. The middle cones that are 4 yards apart from each other will be the shuffle zone. Starting at the first cone, we're going to sprint forward, changing into a shuffle for 4 yards, back to a sprint, sprint, shuffle, sprint. So run, shuffle, run. Run, shuffle, shuffle, run. Run, shuffle, shuffle, run is an abbreviated version of run, shuffle, run. We're just going to knock off that last cone. So all we need is 3 cones, or 2 cones if you use the line as a starting point. The first cone is 5 yards away with the last cone 4 yards off that center cone. We're going to sprint forward 5 yards to that first cone, shuffle, shuffle back, sprint, and turn and run. So it's run, shuffle, run. We're going to